Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Taurology 33 channel. This is your December 2020 love reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings, I'll probably start those back up again in January. Just wanted to give you an update there. As far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. And once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Also, keep in mind this is a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as their energy. If you feel more like it should be the other way around, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, past energy on your side, we have the Six of Arrows. So this is actually Aquarius energy here, which for you guys is your 10th house. But primarily what sticks out to me with this card is usually the Six of Arrows or the Six of Swords. Points to move into calmer waters after some difficulties. And the artwork in this particular deck always stands out to me because it's like they're kind of moving back in the direction of this person. So for some of you, you might have had some difficult times within this connection and may have decided to head back to the connection. But the one thing that stands out to me the most with this artwork is the fact that that sixth arrow, she's putting it out of the boat, meaning that she still has those 5 arrows with her, which makes me think of the Five of Swords energy, which I always think of as an unhealed wound. So for some of you, could just be saying you might have come back to the connection before you were healed, or you might have entered into the connection with this person before you were healed from something from your past, and that may have caused some issues. Okay, past energy on their side, we have the King of Wands. So this is Leo energy here. So some of you could be dealing with Leo, but interestingly enough, we have the Aquarius energy on your side, Leo energy on their side. So those are opposite signs there. So this could definitely point to the attraction you guys had with each other. But here, to me, this does say that they probably felt very passionate towards you, possibly even protective toward you as well. Now, to be fair, they could also be a bit stubborn in their own way as well. So there could have been some clashes there. Maybe that's what that's pointing to in the past as well. But yeah, I do see that they probably had a passionate attraction toward you, rather, and probably was protective over you. And like I said, they might have been a bit set in their ways too, though. All right. In the present position, we have the Seven of Arrows. So more Aquarius energy here. And again, what sticks out in my mind, like I was saying with that card, is if we notice, there's those 2 arrows in the background, and then she's holding on to 5. So I feel like this is another indicator saying that you guys just might not be healed from something. However, it's something with this person directly or a totally unrelated situation. I could see that it could definitely be impacting the connection in a negative way. So if we think about the Seven of Swords in traditional tarot, the person looks like they feel like they're getting away with something and they have like that sly look on their face. But if you look at her facial expression here, she doesn't look happy at all, right? So that's why I'm really feeling like this is more, in your case, definitely more of an unhealed wound situation. Like I said, for some of you, it could totally be related to this person directly or just something that you've been carrying with you from your past. But either way, I feel like it could be causing some issues with this connection. Could be some unspoken things that you haven't told them about as well. And so, for example, maybe those 2 arrows represent part of the story that you give this person, right? But there's still so much more that you're holding on to that you're not expressing. That's what I see as a possibility there. And for some of you, given that this is 2 times now we've seen Aquarius energy, which is your 10th house of career and social status, could just be saying that you might just have a lot of preoccupation around your career. Maybe you guys are just a bit stressed about that, but maybe for whatever reason you're not communicating that to this person. Okay, the present energy on their side, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy, and the Devil, which is also Capricorn energy. So on the one hand, we're going to be entering into Capricorn season toward the end of December, but here what sticks out to me with this is this could be how they're perceiving you given that this is Pentacle energy. And what I always say, this makes me think of that old term, kissing someone's feet, right? So they might feel like you know, might be a bit self-absorbed. And again, I don't even know if it's like intentionally on your part, because like I said, looking at both of these cards, the woman in the card doesn't look happy, for one. And like I said, it feels like you guys are just carrying something from your past that you haven't really processed. So it could just be causing a disconnect in that regard, to where you really might just be preoccupied with something totally outside of the connection, or for some of you, something that does involve them, but you just haven't communicated this issue to them. But they might be taking it as you're totally self-absorbed, right? And that you really don't have any, you know, you're not really putting any energy into the connection. So for some of them, it could just be viewing it like, well, I guess, you know, this is just going to be basically a sexual connection and nothing more. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing there. Um, Now, on the more negative side, on their side, it could just be saying that might even be just how they're viewing it. Like, okay, well, clearly this person isn't open, so I'm just gonna try to get what I can out of the situation, and that's it, you know. But I feel like that's a little less likely in this scenario, but obviously it is a possibility. Could just be saying as well, though, that there's a very karmic draw that they have to you. So even though they're wondering, like, okay, well, I feel like I'm just, you know, putting in all this effort and this person's not even paying me any attention. Why am I doing this, right? But it could just be that they have that strong karmic pull toward you. So there's definitely, you know, definitely a karmic dynamic to the connection that I see. All right. And the future energy on your side, we have sacrifice, which is the equivalent of hangman in traditional tarot, and five of coins, which is Taurus energy. So again, what comes to mind here is now we finally do see Taurus energy and Pentacle energy on your side, but again, it doesn't look like the happiest of energies, right? This is often referred to as the being left out in the cold energy. Um, and then with the sacrifice energy here, this makes me think of, I mean, if we look, the feminine energy is like trying to grab the person and he's like walking away, right? So could just be saying that whatever this is that you're bottling up, the cautionary thing there might be that if you don't actually express it, or if you wait too long to express it, they may just take it as, okay, well, obviously Taurus is not interested, and they might just move on. That's certainly one possibility for what that could be saying there. And I will say, you guys have Uranus in those degrees of Taurus. This represents the first 10 degrees of Taurus, and soon we're going to have Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius, and they're both eventually going to make tense aspects with Uranus in your sign, so there could definitely be some heavy energy with that. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. Like I said, it seems like you guys just have something going on. It's not 100% clear to me if this is directly related to the connection or just something else going on in your lives. Like I said, for some of you, can just be a lot of stress around your career that, you know, you're just keeping to yourselves for whatever reason. But looks like this person might just take it as eventually, well, I don't, you know, think there's anywhere that I could go with Taurus, you know. So something to keep in mind there. And future energy on their side, we have the Five of Swords. So now they have Aquarius energy on their side. Five of Wands, more Leo energy. So somebody could definitely be dealing with the Leo possibly. And the Three of Wands, which is Aries energy. So what I'm seeing here for some of you, Five of Swords in most decks, like I was saying, usually represents that energy where there's an unhealed wound. But in this deck in particular, points more to, you know, just having to take a risk and make a sacrifice. So ironically, we see sacrifice on that side. So for some of you, could just be saying that, you know, they might actually just push you away or just stop putting in effort toward the connection. But at the same time, I think that they'll still keep the door open. You know what I mean? As far as with this Three of Wands energy, I feel like that's them saying they might cut their losses for the time being. And that's even what the sacrifice could be pointing to there. But at the same time, not completely letting the connection go, you know, as far as like, okay, well, obviously Taurus has something going on. You know, I can't really get through to this person. So I'm just going to keep my distance, you know, and maybe see if things will change down the line. That's one way I could see that playing out. For some of you, you do have to watch out for the potential that, yes, if they do feel, like I said, there's that potential for misunderstanding. Like, I'm really not seeing anything nefarious on your side. It just seems like you have something that you're not expressing, and that could be what's causing issues. So if they feel like what you're doing might be deceptive toward them, there is that small potential that they might almost, react in the same way. But really, if it was just those two cards by themselves, I'd feel a little more likely to think that could be what's happening. But with that Three of Wands there, I feel like this is more them, just trying to keep their distance for a bit, because they might feel like, okay, well, I'm not getting anywhere with Taurus. They're not letting me know what's going on, right? So they might just create the distance, but at the same time, just at the very least, even if it's just a hope that they keep in their minds that, okay, well, hopefully eventually Taurus will come back around. That's what I'm seeing there. And for some of you, can be misunderstandings as well, where they might think, well, maybe Taurus is involved with someone else, because if you're not giving them any energy at all, they might be like, okay, well, is there someone else in the picture for them? But either way, I do see that there is that genuine attraction and interest that I saw with the King of Wands. But I feel like now they're just going to pretty much kind of throw their hands up in the situation and say, well, I don't know what to do at this point. If anything's going to happen, it's going to have to come from Taurus. And then if that's the case, keep in mind, like I said, the warning here could just be to watch out for waiting too long, because they might actually end up moving on. So let's see. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Prince of Cups. So this is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Cups, which is more Pisces energy here. So for some of you, this might even say that it might take you until Pisces season to finally come forward and communicate to this person, which of course would be starting at the end of February. So it sounds a long way away, but given that this is a December reading, it's a possibility, because usually these could go for up to 3 months. But yeah, that's one way it could be coming across, or this could just be saying that you guys might finally decide to open up and let them know how you're feeling. And then the bottom of the deck on their side is the World. So the World usually represents completions. I also view it as North Node energy, and we do have the North Node in Gemini. There's going to be an eclipse there actually coming up at the time of recording this in a couple days. So could point to that energy, but also, like I said, this represents completion. So for this person, they might just feel like, okay, well, put in all the effort that I can at this time. I'm just going to let it go for the time being. And to be fair, that could even be part of the lesson that they might have to learn, right? Which is to just say, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to direct the flow to connection, just let things happen more naturally. But for some of you, like I said, a small percentage of you as well, this could just represent them feeling like, okay, well, this is probably over. But underneath that, with this Three of Cups here, this is another indicator to me, like I said, that they do still have that genuine interest and hope that things will work out. But again, like I said, I feel like they're just leaving it not even necessarily up to you, but just like, all right, well, I've done what I've done in the situation, and I'm just going to let the universe handle it from here, So that's kind of what I'm picking up on there. But we'll see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. First, we'll see if we get anything from Aqua Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck. So what I'm going to be looking for here is just some unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll just move on to the next Oracle deck. But sometimes we do get additional messages here, which can be helpful. So we'll see if we get anything. All right, nothing coming up here, but I'll give it a couple more shuffles. All right, so nothing there, but next we'll see if we get any unspoken messages from them to you. Almost have one there. Oh, got one. Oh, two actually. All right. So let's see. Okay. If I can get it to focus, but the first one says codependency. I need you. Interesting there. And I guess for some of you, that can be part of it as well, right? Like maybe that is the issue. I don't know why it won't focus right now, but there we go. So it could just be saying that for some of you, if you are preoccupied, so, for example, not to leave them completely blameless, like if you really are just totally wrapped up with career stuff and this person feels like, they need more attention from you, then that could be what that's pointing to there. And like I said, if that's the case with the world card there, maybe that's something that they're learning too, right? Which is to give a little bit more space to you guys. So for somebody, that can be how it's playing out. Because with that devil energy, that can be a very obsessive energy, like I said. So for some of you, that can be how it's playing out. And all right, and the second card says, love, my heart is opening and I'm ready. So interesting message there as well. Now, to be fair, I did feel like in the past that they were already pretty open with that King of Wands energy, but like I said, they can be set in their own ways too. But definitely with the artwork here, it gives me the impression of someone that was open and expressive regarding their passion toward you. And maybe that's part of what the future position is for them too, where, like I said, maybe quite frankly, since I was seeing the call back to the Five of Swords with both of these cards, and then it came up in their future energy. To be fair, maybe both of you had some wounds that you needed to heal from, and then with that Three of Wands, that could represent them finally being ready. So that's certainly a possibility as well. But like I said, primarily what I'm picking up on is I definitely felt on your side like there's something unhealed and something unspoken that you guys haven't been communicating to this person. And so I do feel like for most of you, this person's pretty much just going to leave it up to fate at this point. We'll see, though. Especially if in the present, if they do feel like, if they are interacting with you in the present and it feels like, you're really shut off toward them, they might feel like, okay, well, I'm putting in this effort here and it feels like nothing's good enough for them in a way, you know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind there. But see what this card adds, this deck rather adds to the mix as well. It's the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And same situation here, I did pre-shuffle this one, and we're just going to be looking for one card here, though, with general advice, and then we'll wrap up. Alright, nothing's coming up, so I'll give it a few more shuffles. Worst case, nothing comes up. I'll put the deck down and we'll pull a random card. Nope, got two actually, so spoke too soon. But we got Between Worlds. There we go. There's the artwork, and the number is 3. And we got Chop Wood. There's the artwork. The number is 42. I think Sagittarius might have gotten the same card as well. And now that I'm thinking about it too, some more elements of their reading kind of remind me of this one a little bit too. So if you guys either have a Sagittarius placement in your chart, or if you're dealing with a Sagittarius, definitely check out their reading too. Maybe it'll give you a little more insight. But let's see what we got here. All right. It says transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another, temporary blindness, no man's land. The Oracle's message, between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will not be disappointed. So definitely an interesting message there. And in a way, I could actually see that resonating for the energies on the right side as well. So for those of you where that was your energy, hopefully that resonated. All right, the relationship message says this is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore who you are and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship that is not to be dismissed or hurried. So definitely an interesting message there. And again, I feel like for some of you where this was your energy on the right, this card might resonate even a little bit better for those of you where this is your energy. But I feel like for both sides, you could get something from that. The next one, let's see what it has to say. Okay, it says, being grounded in everyday experience, humility. The Oracle's message. There are times when the big dream is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delighting in the beautiful blooms when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and leaving it be to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. Taking your attention away from your goal brings you into a state of receptivity. This is the deeper purpose of releasing attachment. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way, you clear your energy for your aha moment, which brings you closer to what you seek. So an interesting message there, especially for those of you where I was picking up on the energy for some of you, especially that these are both Aquarius energies, which is 10th house career and social status. If you guys are just really distracted around what's going on in your career, it could just be saying to, try to, maybe easier said than done with those swords energy we see there, but, try not to focus on it so heavily because you might just have other areas of your life that might need some tending to, and then in that case, that would be this connection, of course. The relationship message says, nothing is as important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard-won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendships go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. The work of your relationship right now is very simple. Just to be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. So an interesting message there, because I will say that I do agree with that as far as the energies on the left here, like the cards on the right, what I'm seeing, where, like I said, it feels like if you guys are just so distracted where it feels like you're not really present, even if you are with the person, it feels like that could, be what might cause some issues. So even if it's as simple as letting them know what's going on with you, just so there's some clarity there, so there's less room for confusion, that might be helpful. Especially, like we said, we are going to have that full moon eclipse in a couple days in Gemini, which is all about communication. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. It was a little bit of a weird reading, but hopefully you guys got something from that. I'll see you guys next month, and hope you guys have a good new year. Bye.